Ever since I read chapter 17, something's been on my mind heavy. You see, during my reread, I noticed something that Kashin Koji said to Boruto that could possibly lead to something insane down the line. So stick around because I'm about to reveal one of the craziest possibilities we could see as soon as next chapter, as it pertains to Boruto and his friends against the Shinju in the Land of Wind. But before we get into the video, I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm about to ask. I need my real supporters to drop that like real quick. As you know, it does help me a bunch in the YouTube algorithm, and it also helps push the channel out there, and it brings in more new viewers. So be sure to show some love. Let's try and get 400 likes on this one. Let's see if we still got it in us. I haven't set a like goal in a minute, so let's just see. But anyway, video time, let's go. So we really didn't see Boruto in chapter 17. It was mostly a chapter for the members of the Tsunagakure mission, but for the short time that we did see him in Kashin Koji, they were having a conversation, and they were talking about something that really piqued my interest. So just to quickly recap, just in case anyone doesn't really remember, Koji asked Ada to tell him what was going on in the Land of Wind. Ada was still worried about Mamushi spotting her, so Koji reassured her that he was still at their base. So there's no possible way of them finding out that she's spying on them. And that right there kind of insinuates that Mamushi is the only one that can see through the Sharingan's abilities as of right now. But not really important. It will be important later on, but for right now, that's what it is. Even Ada has to be cautious of her using her powers recklessly. So Ada tells Kashin Koji to run down on what's happening with Konohamaru's group, and he quickly relays that message to Boruto. And I'm afraid this is where the issue occurs, my friends. When Boruto asks Kashin Koji what happens next after Konohamaru and the others successfully separated Ryu and MATSURI, Koji tells Boruto the future that they're striving for, or the best possible future. And the best possible outcome for this little plan Shikamaru devised is for Sarada and the three others to take down Ryu first, and then after, they simply rendezvous with Konohamaru to help him take down MATSURI. That's the best possible outcome from this situation. However, like all future outcomes, there is a certain percentage attached to each future. And according to Kashin Koji, the percentage of this future actually playing out is not very high. This means there's possibly another future that has a much higher probability of happening, but that future most likely results in catastrophe. So it's probably for the best that they stay away from that outcome. But what exactly does that future entail? And how does it pertain to Boruto? So basically, we already have a few clues as to what may happen in that future. Clues that is really easy to foresee if we pay close attention to what Koji tells Boruto during this conversation. So as soon as Koji tells Boruto the percentage of Sarada and the others actually defeating the Shinju with the plan that Shikamaru came up with is really low, we see Boruto obviously wasn't satisfied with that answer. He demanded that Koji actually tell him a number, and that number will really tell Boruto what his next move has to be. Koji saying the probability of everything working out isn't that high could honestly mean anything. It could mean anything ranging from 10% to around 60%. You can say that's considered quote unquote not that high, but obviously if you'd had to roll the dice, you'll definitely take a chance with odds around 50 to 60% then below 40. And that's what Boruto's trying to figure out. With a number tied to the odds, it'll tell him whether he absolutely needs to step in or not. And here lies the conflict between Kashin Koji and Boruto. The conflict between them is already starting to brew, and we can pretty much see that. But all this did was make things worse, especially regarding how much they trust each other. Koji was reluctant to actually tell Boruto a number because he knows the possibility of Boruto acting on his own and going to Tsunagakure is a really high possibility. He could be there in a blink of an eye with his flying Raijin. It seems like it's all set up for that to happen. All he has to do is use the piece of metal Mitsuki picked up from the ground to teleport there. So I see why Koji is telling Boruto to not interfere with the future timeline. Because in the future where Boruto goes to Tsunagakure to help, JURA makes a move and kills Boruto this time. When Koji said you will die this time, it definitely got me thinking. Boruto was actually supposed to die in chapter 12 when JURA sniped him, wasn't he? The way Koji says this definitely leads me to believe that. I'm not gonna lie. So it must really be unavoidable. Since JURA didn't kill Boruto in their initial encounter, it would just postpone for the next one. That future wasn't dodged or avoided. It was just saved for a later time. And it'll most likely keep happening again and again until Jura actually kills Boruto. So the reason of Koji telling Boruto not to go is literally because in another timeline, most likely a new timeline that was created from the recent actions, Boruto goes to help Sarada and the others, and then Jura just wipes him out along with everyone else. I anticipate these few panels will be very significant down the line, because I honestly don't think Boruto would just sit still if he found out the odds of everyone coming out that situation was below 50%. Even though Boruto has grown up significantly since the ending of part 1 to now, he still shows some signs of naivety in his character. Like when he released Code from the effects of the Uzuhiko in hopes he would cooperate with him in defeating the Shinju. These things that he does still shows us where he has room to grow. And I already expressed how much I hated that decision. In the shinobi world, certain sacrifices are necessary to reach a certain goal. It's not realistic to meet your goal without any bumps in the road to overcome or impossible choices they'll have to make. I'm pretty sure in Kashin Koji's visions, he's seen some pretty dark futures, and some of these more favorable futures may require somebody giving up their life. And if Koji tells Boruto, I don't think he would be mature enough to just simply accept that. Say what you want about Boruto being a Sasuke Jr. and whatnot, but he still has some Naruto in him. He got that I'll never give up and I'll do everything my way and create a future where nobody dies mentality. And as honorable as it is, I'll admit sometimes that's not really realistic. So the thing about Boruto is we don't know if he's truly accepted the possibility of not everyone that he cares deeply about being in this future that they're striving for. And before, when I talked about the brewing conflict between Boruto and Koji, this is what I was talking about. Is it possible that Koji could be lying about anything regarding the future to Boruto, so he doesn't make any sudden and emotional decisions that could cost the planet's existence? So, for example, if there was a future where everyone survives, Jura is defeated, and Kawaki releases Naruto and Hinata from the Daikakuta dimension, but the only necessary sacrifice was Himawari for some reason, do you think Boruto would be able to let go of his little sister to save humanity as we know it? And to be honest, that's a hard decision for anyone to make because that's your blood relative right there. Someone you're supposed to love and protect. And they're just gone for the greater good. It takes a lot of mental discipline to make a decision like that. Only thing I'm afraid of is Kashin Koji already coming to the conclusion that that's what needs to happen for the future to be secured. He's probably just waiting on it to happen at this point. He's just not telling Boruto, which means it'll be a surprise to all of us when it actually happens. But in reality, Koji knew about it happening all along. And I really feel it all has to do with Koji not being able to trust Boruto enough to tell him. Like, there's been a couple instances where Boruto almost sabotaged the future because of his personal emotions clouding his judgment, or just simply him overthinking the situation. The primest examples I could offer is in chapter 4. I'm pretty sure Koji was just as anxious as Boruto in that situation, but he still kept his wits and advised Boruto to retreat instead of stay and fight. But Boruto didn't really listen until he had no choice but to retreat. So this is what I mean. Koji probably lost a little bit of trust in Boruto at this moment, because he proved when things really got tough, he couldn't stay calm and devise a plan that would increase the chances for the best possible outcome. He may be one of the most powerful characters in the story, and he does have the power to make drastic change to the world, but he still needs to be led and he still needs time to grow mentally other than physically. So Koji probably just took matters into his own hands and decided that things need to happen in a certain chain of events, no matter how dark and twisted things may get. So really, I could see Koji letting Konohamaru die like everyone is anticipating. I mean, yeah, if it's for the good of the future, sure, I can probably see him lying to Boruto about events that could lead to a potential Mitsuki sacrifice as well. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me if Koji lied about knowing a way to be able to save Sasuke. It could all be a way to manipulate a naive boy into doing exactly as he says to offer the best possible odds of the planet's survival. But as much as I see a world where Koji lets someone die during this confrontation with the Shinju, there's also a world where he doesn't want Boruto to join the fight because he's anticipating something else happening that could shift the direction of the future as well. The timeline is constantly changing. It's changing every single day because Boruto and Koji are constantly trying to get the best possible outcome. And to get it, they're creating new timelines. They're creating new timelines by communicating with other people who don't know anything about the future. Like during Boruto's interrogation, him telling everyone about the Shinju and JURA and how to save the planet from destruction, and more importantly, Boruto informing Kawaki about his limiters that Amato placed on him. By Boruto telling Kawaki about his limiters, he's actively making Kawaki's job of destroying him way easier. But he's also strengthening Kawaki so he's able to defend himself against the Shinju and keep himself from getting devoured. So in the long run, it's not a very smart decision, but for now, it's their best option. So maybe Koji tells Boruto to wait it out because Kawaki is about to get his limiters removed, and the power he received from this will allow him to assist Konohamaru and the others fight against the Shinju after the mission to betray them goes horribly wrong. I believe that could be a very possible outcome, and one I already made a video on, so why don't you go check that out? That thumbnail is crispy as hell, isn't it? You know you want to check that out, don't even lie. But yeah, something like that could be in the works. All Koji is waiting on is Amato to actually remove the limiters to make the next move. And it doesn't have to be Kawaki, maybe someone totally expected pulls up to help. But one way or another, Koji is hiding something from Boruto and us, and it really couldn't be more obvious. So now let me ask you all this. What side are you taking on this? Is Kashin Koji hiding the fact that someone has to be sacrificed in order to reach the most favorable outcome? Or do you think he's telling Boruto to stay because he's expecting something else to happen that would give Konohamaru and the others the edge in the battle against the Shinju? Both of these options probably have an equal chance of happening, so either one you choose, it's a pretty smart choice. So anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Nothing more I really have left to say other than if you enjoyed the video and want to see more like this in the near future, don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss another great analysis video like this, or when I go live every month to react to the spoilers with y'all. And without further ado, I'll catch you boys and girls later. And I'm out. Peace.